Welcome to this module titled Assessing On-Farm Produce Safety Risks, Accessing Virginia Market Sectors. This module is part of a series to assist you in creating a food safety program and preparing you for a gap audit. These videos are based off of a series of 7 fact sheets available through Virginia Cooperative Extension. In this module, we are going to explore how food safety can play into market access, the ways market sectors are similar and different from each other in terms of requirements, and why it is important to always recognize that there is not a one-size-fits-all for food safety standards across market sectors.
Let's start by considering the following vegetables and fruits pictured in the slide. What do you think each of these vegetables and fruits have in common? You might have said they are eaten raw, and that is definitely true. But the bigger link is that all have been implicated in foodborne illness outbreaks, with some more than others, such as the leafy greens that are shown. The Center for Disease Control estimates that 1 in 6 people in the United States get sick from foodborne illnesses each year. That is about 48 million people per year. And while that number is high, it is estimated that this number is much lower than the actual amount, since many illnesses go unreported. One critical point is that of the total number of foodborne illnesses, 46% are associated with fresh produce, not just the produce we saw pictured in the previous slide, but all across the gamut of fruits, vegetables, and nuts. With the many food safety outbreaks, we have seen stringent changes to marketplace requirements. In other words, the kinds of grower, production, and handling practices buyers are looking for, the types of food safety audits and liability insurance, and other food safety verification that is needed. We also see increased changes in federal regulations, such as the passage of the Food Safety Modernization Act's Produce Safety Rule and other FDA laws. With this has come a greater emphasis on growers assessing on-farm risk and incorporating best practices to mitigate those risks. A fundamental driver in all this has been consumer pressure and demand for a safer food supply. With all these changes, how do you as a producer figure out the differences in requirements in all the various market sectors and what you need to do in terms of food safety? And if an audit is required, how do you know which audit is acceptable for a particular market? In the next several slides, I'm going to share some insights from some work we conducted at Virginia Tech. To better understand the changing market landscape, the Virginia Fresh Produce Food Safety Team conducted a statewide market assessment in 2015. We used a combination of online surveys and focus groups supplemented with interviews and literature reviews for the harder to survey sectors like hospitals. While there have certainly been impacts to the marketplace as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the knowledge gleaned from the 2015 assessment has been confirmed over and over again. Although the survey specifically targeted food safety perceptions and expectations, buyers also were looking for other characteristics that were important to them. Often, several of these other characteristics pose constraints to grower access. In other words, even if a grower had a safe product, if that grower didn't have an adequate volume or availability of that product, or if they were not able to deliver that product when needed, buyers would look elsewhere for product sources. In considering overall results, we found that across sectors and sometimes within sectors, food safety requirements were not consistent given varied procurement strategies. While buyers were typically interested in purchasing from local or regional sources, there were often significant hurdles that posed barriers, as mentioned in the last slide. The key message was that there was not a one-size-fits-all approach. In the next several slides, we will look at each of the market sectors to provide some of our key findings and help provide a framework for navigating food safety requirements. For direct-to-consumer markets like farmers markets or CSAs, community-supported agriculture, a gap audit is not a requirement. However, it is important to know broader rules and food safety regulations for selling at that market. Growers should contact a market manager and ask specific questions such as, are there specifics regarding handling practices at the market? Does the market require some sort of food safety training in on-farm and market food safety? Does the grower need a simple food safety plan or a way to convey to the public a commitment to food safety so as to boost the credibility of the market? What about wholesale markets? As we will see in some of the other markets, wholesalers can play a large role in alleviating logistical issues. They may also provide grower support in the way of training, incentives, branding, and other issues. For many farmers, this is a big plus. The downside can be the price per unit, but this might be offset given some of the benefits wholesalers can provide. It is important for growers to know what the food safety requirements might be. Many wholesalers require a food safety audit. In fact, some of these may even require an audit before buying any product from a grower. Asking what type of audit and when it is needed is important. In Virginia, the farm to school movement is growing, and the demand for the procurement of locally sourced products is increasing. More schools are transitioning from pre made foods to fresh, scratch cooked options. While some school districts are constrained by the size of the district and the number of funds and flexibility they may have to procure locally sourced products, especially given existing vendor contracts, a good start is for growers to ask whether or not their local school system is interested in participating in farm to school purchases. If they are open, then growers can discuss further with the school nutrition director to find out what food safety practices and documentation are required. Growers might also consider selling to food hubs or distributors who may already have business relationships with the school system. As mentioned earlier, these groups may be able to help with navigating food safety requirements and logistical issues, such as transportation, proper temperature handling and holding, and meeting volume needs. Generally, restaurants are often treated like direct market sales, but it depends on the formal structure of the restaurant. Is it an independent, local mom and pop restaurant, or is it a chain? Is it part of a larger institutional setting? Food safety is still important, but unless it is a chain, a food safety audit is likely not required. The quality and type of product are important, as is availability. Niche products can also have an influence on access. Just like restaurants, there are mom and pop or regional retailers versus chain stores, and this will impact their readiness to source locally. If they are chain retailers, it is important to know their corporate policies regarding food safety and other requirements for purchasing locally sourced products. Growers need to do their homework so they know what specific requirements the retailer has. Farther on the market sector continuum are institutions like colleges and hospitals. Given the large volume of products needed in colleges, growers must be able to provide a consistent flow of products and meet exacting quality standards. In this sector, it is vital for growers to obtain and maintain a third-party food safety audit. This is especially true since many colleges and universities have contractual agreements with food service providers who dictate stringent buying requirements. It is also likely growers will need liability insurance. This sector may best be accessed through an intermediary like a food hub, regional distributor, or broadline distributor, especially since these entities likely meet food safety requirements and also can aggregate products and make the necessary connections needed for access. Hospitals exemplify the most complex system, given that the food purchase is primarily targeted to immunocompromised populations. They also typically have an extensive corporate structure, hierarchy of management, and group purchasing organizations, and strict policy hurdles. Growers need to realize persons responsible for food procurement do not likely make policy decisions, and so may not have flexibility in their purchasing capabilities due to the stringent corporate policies and rules. Growers interested in trying to tap into hospitals need to ask the right questions. What is the size of the hospital? Is it a private hospital or part of a larger corporate scheme? If it is a smaller institution, would there be fewer hurdles, making it easier for local farmers to tap into? Or is the food simply preheated to serve as we see in some school systems? If it is a larger hospital, contracts with large food distributors may prohibit other vendors. Are there options for outside contracts or sales? If so, what are the different requirements and food safety hurdles that must be overcome? If larger hospitals are open to sales, an intermediary might be absolutely necessary for gaining access since hospitals just don't have the time and ability to work with small subcontractors. In each of the market sectors that we just looked at, we see that while food safety requirements may differ between sectors, all market sectors are looking for some level of food safety practices to be in place. Yet how do you know if your farm needs to be GAP certified? As with any market decision, it's important to have a discussion with your current and or prospective buyers. Ask them what their specific food safety requirements are and how they will verify your practices. Do you need to have a food safety audit? If you need an audit, which specific audit do they require? Or is there some flexibility as to what they will accept? Wait, you might be saying, there's more than one kind of GAP audit? The answer is yes. The good news is that in spite of the type of food safety audit, all audits address hazards, identify routes of contamination, implement good agricultural practices, and document activities. The main differences are the level of complexity, stringency, and cost. In this module, we have seen how foodborne illness has been a major driver in increasing more stringent market food safety requirements. In addition to meeting food safety standards, buyers are also looking for a wide array of product characteristics such as product variety, quality, consistency, availability, volume, price, and deliverability. Since there is not a one-size-fits-all standard across all market sectors, it is vital that you communicate with your buyers, know the requirements that must be met, and develop a well-aligned food safety program. Having completed the first module of this course, you will want to review Accessing Virginia's Market Sectors, Fresh Produce Purchasing Considerations, Factsheet, on the course site. You will also want to explore your specific markets as related to topics covered in this module. In the rest of this course, you will learn about conducting a hazard analysis, identifying risk at the various stages of production, harvest, and post-harvest handling, and how to prepare for a GAP audit.